Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I seeing this tag everywhere last couple days, so I thought I would go ahead and do it, even though I do have a similar video on my channel. But it is nice to reflect. I've only been started my tarot journey in April of 2019, so don't feel like I've been doing it a whole long time. To show my tarot journey. But yeah, I thought it would be fun to go ahead and do this tag. It was originally from Becca Talks and Tarot, um, her channel, and she's actually got the questions down below in the comments section of her channel or of this video that she did. So this is my VR response to um, my tarot journey by Becca Talks and Tarot. So my journey began, and I've said this many times on my channel, I literally woke up one morning with the overwhelming need to buy a tarot deck. Could not figure out why. Didn't have any interest in tarot at all. But the more I ignored the need to buy one, the stronger the need became. And to the point where I was having severe anxiety. And I'm like, okay, I have to go buy a tarot deck. I don't know why. And so that's how it started for me. And I think it's really surprising when I was watching other videos of this VR response was a lot of people were talking about I now completely forgot how many people walked away from it or started out as a kid, like 16, 17. To me, that's still a kid. How many people actually started out as a child, as a teenager, reading tarot and then walked away from it for years and then it came back to it? I'm almost 44. I just literally started my tarot journey in, like I said, April 2019. It's been weird. Sorry, I had to pause it for a second. I might have to pause it again because my kid decided to walk my dog because she can't be without me for some reason lately. Ever since 4th of July, she's developed anxiety disorder or something. She can't be without me. So it's harder for me to do these videos now. But as I was saying, it just surprised me how many people started this as a teenager and then walked away from it for a while and then came back to it. I didn't do that. I was raised in a Pentecostal church. I was raised tarot is bad, tarot is evil. It's just like the Ouija board. Anything to do with divination is not godly, and you were going to hell. And so I had that mindset for many, many, many years. Even after I had walked away from the church 20 some years ago, I still had that mentality, that mindset that tarot was bad. And then I came to the realization when I started my spiritual journey, June of 2018. By the time I got to April of 2019, it was like, just buy a deck and see how it goes. And like I said, I woke up one morning, literally, it went from one day not caring about it to the next day literally waking up with this overwhelming need to have a tarot deck in my possession. Did not know why, did not understand it fully. And I think it was Spirit's way of saying, they're just cards. You use them how you use them. It's the person that turns them into something negative. And so once that mindset overrode the years and years and years of training I was taught, it started coming a little easier for me. But my very first tarot deck that I bought, I still don't use. I've used it for study purposes, but I've never actually physically used it for divination purposes. Um, I went into Barnes and Noble and I said, "Where's your tarot section?" And they just, "Oh, it's up here." Da da da. Da. And I go up there and there's just aisles and aisles and aisles of tarot decks, and I'm like, okay. I had no clue about tarot at all. I knew there was tarot out there. I'd seen movies where they used tarot in the movies. I did not know there's oracle decks. I didn't know the difference between a tarot and an oracle deck. I didn't know there were different systems of tarot decks. I did not know what RWS was, but for some reason, this deck spoke to me, or didn't speak to me. I liked the colors of it, and it looked like a for beginner guide. So I bought the Radiant Rider Waite Smith tarot deck, or Radiant Rider Waite tarot deck. This is the book that comes with it. It is a hefty, meaty book. I would say for any newbie, this is a book to get. This would be a deck to get. However, and it could be just because I was so new to it, that I didn't understand what I was looking at. I threw the tuck box that came with away because after like 6 times I pulled it out, it was just crap. So I created my own little box here with little stickers, and I printed off a image of the Eight of Swords because at the time the only card I resonated with and completely understood was the Eight of Swords, which is what I started the video on. I have on kind of my tarot journey because I was stalking the Eight of Swords for a while. But I even watched videos on how to edge it, how to trim it, sleep with it, do all this stuff with it, and I edged it in a like highlighter yellow to match the stars on the back. And I'm not going to go into detail because everybody knows what this deck is. Everybody knows what this deck is. And I'm dropping cards. I'm sorry. Everybody knows what this is. But this was my very first deck. I still don't jive with it. Don't know why. When I got it, after I got it home, and I tried messing around with it for a few weeks, I was like, I still don't get the color. I mean, the colors are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Colors are gorgeous. It just sat there. And I got so frustrated that from like, I would say I got it in like the beginning of April. So from like April to like mid-June, nothing. Didn't mess with it at all. Went to South Carolina for 4th of July. Took it with me, thinking maybe if I sleep with it in a 15-hour long drive that we'll bond somehow. It didn't work. It basically sat in the car the whole 4 days I was there. Then I actually saw a walkthrough of Oracle deck online, a couple Oracle decks. Immediately had to have them, and immediately when I got them in my hands, it was like everything was like, okay, maybe I'm just into Oracle decks. That's it. Then I watched a walkthrough on the Illuminati Tarot, and I actually didn't see a walkthrough. I saw the World card. This is by Lowe Scarabaro. This Radiant Rider Waite Smith is by U.S. Games published. But I saw the Illuminati, and because I wanted a deck, because one of the main deck I was working with was an Oracle deck, and I literally could feel the energy in the deck. I'm like, I know what people are talking about when they're talking about the energy of the deck. It's amazing. I want a tarot deck like that. Why can't I work with tarot? Using the backs. And this deck is, to me, beautiful. Like, beautiful. Look at that strength card. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I absolutely love this deck. And as soon as I got it in my hands, it was the same as it was for the Oracle deck. I could feel the energy. I could feel deeply with this deck. And I did a whole thing on the Three of Swords. I love that. I've said this before. It's like she is a dragonfly. Like, these are her wings. This is her body. And then, of course, this is her head and top. But, yeah. This deck is gorgeous to me. I know a lot of people say it's garish and out there, but I absolutely adore it for that death card. Temperance. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is the world card, the card that I was like, I want it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And Hermit, I love that card. Couldn't figure out why. Look at this full gorgeous colors. Ten of Swords. I could go on and on and on and on and on. But something changed in me once I got this deck. It was like I understood things like this Three of Swords. Most people in the Three of Swords see the heart with the swords. I didn't see that. I saw past it. It was like I had stepped into the card and I saw the waves crashing against the shoreline. I saw the lightning and the thunder and the storms, and all I could think about was the storm will pass. And so from that moment on, it was like something clicked, and I was seeing tarot in a whole new light with this deck. And I was seeing it probably the way I should have seen it when I bought the first deck, the RWS deck. And I think it's hilarious because this is the same Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, just more added to it. There's more in the background, more going on. And I was like, I connect with this, but I don't connect with the other one. It's the same imagery. I'll get that later. So I went through, it was probably actually September, end of September, maybe end of August, beginning of September, when I actually bought the Illuminati and was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And I actually started pulling a card of the day every day for myself. And things just progressed from there. I bought more Oracle decks. I bought more tarot decks. But I was always seeking that Eight of Swords. For some reason, I could not figure out why am I always seeking out the Eight of Swords. When I got addicted to watching walkthroughs, that's all I did for days and days and days on end. I'd watch walkthroughs and walkthroughs and walkthroughs, and I was always seeking out the Eight of Swords, and I could not figure out why I was seeking it out so bad. And then I saw a walkthrough of my favorite deck ever, the Light Seers Tarot. I saw the walkthrough of the Kickstarter version. Didn't care. I wanted this deck. There was something inside of me that was like, you have to have this deck. You have to have it. And I'm trying to find it. Of course, the one card I always seek out is the Eight of Swords. And then once I got the deck in my hand, and I sat with this card, I figured out why I was always searching for the Eight of Swords in the deck. It had to do with issues with myself inside, and it became clear to me once I got this deck in my hand. And this deck is one of those that I can look at it, see the positive and negative right off the bat. This one, see the positive and negative right off the bat. This one I've talked about many times this year because this is my stalker card this year, apparently. It's been stalking me, hounding me, driving me crazy. But I realize with the stalker card that anytime a card comes up more than a couple times in like a month's time, there's a reason why it's coming up. Like the Ten of Swords came up a lot for me when I first started reading tarot. Yeah, this I could show you all these, but everybody's seen this because everybody's got it because it's amazing. But once I got, it was like the RWS was a miss. And then I got the Illuminati, and it was like, oh, I can read tarot. You can understand this stuff. And then once I got the Light Seers, it was like, yes, you can read it, but here's another layer that you missed with the Illuminati and the RWS. This is a deeper level layer that you need to really go through and look at. And this deck is, and I've described it before, I think on my channel. It actually kind of hit me again yesterday as I was talking to somebody about this deck. This deck is what I see as myself. It's very to the point, but it's not mean about it. It's not overly harsh. There are a few images in the deck that are harsh, but I think in those if you're pulling those cards, um, it's because it's been telling you the same thing over and over and over, and you're not listening. So it's going to pull those spirits going to bring you those cards because that's what needs to be. It needs to be a smack in the face. Um, this deck really doesn't smack you in the face though. It's more of a companion, a friend, and that's what I love about that deck. I absolutely love it. Um, and so when I started reading the Light Seers, I had a few friends that I read for and stuff, because I got more confident and I started reading for people online a little bit, and people were like, every time, you're right on, you're right on, you're right on, you're right on. This is crazy. Um, and I was like, oh my God, maybe I can read for other people. I am reading for other people. I just didn't realize I was reading for other people. And that's, to me, what the Light Series does is it's very subtle in the fact that when it gives you the message, it's so subtle that you don't even realize you're changing your perspective, that your perspective has changed already and you didn't even realize it. It's that subtle to me. And um, so everything kicked up a notch when I got the Light Series. It was like I started having more confidence in myself. Um, and I started reading for other people, and other people were like, yeah, maybe this is something you should be doing. I've always been very intuitive anyway. Didn't realize that's what it was for years. Um, I used to call it my superpower where I can meet somebody within 5 minutes. I can know if they're a negative person. I can tell you if they were um, had bad intentions, all those kind of things. And it's funny because people would ask me, "Hey, this guy I'm dating, da da da," and I'm like, "Yeah, they're no good. Cut the cord now. Walk away before you get invested." And then they wouldn't listen, and of course things went bad. And then they're like, "Why didn't you warn me?" Well, I did warn you. um, but I've always been very intuitive. I just didn't trust that intuitiveness, and I think the Light Series brought that out of me and made me realize you need to trust your gut more. You're usually right. Trust that. And so that opened up like a whole new perspective of things for the tarot that I had no clue about. So my last deck, um, the last tarot deck that I bought and came into my house is the New Era Elements Tarot. And again, this is another one of those decks that comes with a little book. Again, and I just did a walkthrough of this real recently because I just got it not that long ago. But it's the 4 elements on there. But again, I saw a walkthrough of this, didn't even see all the cards, and went and bought it because it's again spoke to me like the Light Seers did. Hangman. It spoke to me on a very primal, deep level, and I'm just like, I don't get it. That's why I need it. I need this deck to figure out why I am so drawn to it. And I'm in love with this deck as well. Look at that. And a lot of these images are very dark. And I've realized, and that's another question on here, is how has your tarot journey evolved? And I would say the number one thing that has changed going from this really bright light deck to this deck, I'm no longer afraid of going to the dark side. I'm no longer afraid of uncovering those dark things and finding out how to heal them. And as you can see, it has gotten darker. I do love dark decks. I think my Tarot the Secret Forest is a dark deck that I have. Look at that death card. Is everything. Everything. And the other thing is these are not traditional RWS. Like I said, when I first started, I had no idea what RWS was. I had no idea what Thoth was. Although I do have a small Thoth deck now. I've never used it. I don't feel the need to. Look at that, lovers. Love it. Um, yeah, beautiful, beautiful deck. Um, I'm no longer afraid to go to the dark stuff and figure out what's going on there. Um, and that's what the main thing that the tarot has taught me is don't be afraid of the darkness, embrace it, because that's the only way you're going to bring it to light and heal it. And I just keep dropping things. But, oh, the other thing I was saying is I love decks that stray from traditional RWS. Yes, I would say my main system, look at that full, gorgeous. Oh, the strength. Beautiful. My main the main system I have learned is RWS because the Illuminati is an RWS clone, essentially. um, and so the system I've learned is RWS, and I don't feel the need to learn Marseille or Thoth. I will probably learn them at some point because I do want to learn them. I just don't feel the need to right now. And I did actually come across in I forgot what her name was, but somebody that did this very tag yesterday, or not yesterday, but I watched it yesterday. She had a Marseille deck that I'm just like, I have to have it because it was beautiful. But as of this moment, I don't feel the need to branch out beyond the RWS system. And I have learned I do once in a while I'll slip up and forget what a card is, but for the most part I have the cards all down. But at the same time I read really intuitively, so it's not I don't follow any books. Like I have books for almost all the decks I have, but I rarely look at them. I really read them because that was part of the problem when I first started reading tarot is that I would get so caught up in having everything be correct and be what it says in the book. It has to be, if I'm not reading it and it's not right from what it's in the book, then I'm doing it wrong. And it was like, Spirit was like, toss the book and see what happens. And what happened was I blossomed. I started reading for people and I started realizing it doesn't always follow what's in the book. If there is an issue going on, the tarot will reveal that issue, reveal what needs to be fixed in a situation. And I'm lucky enough to be one of those kind of people that can actually give that message to them and be like, hey, you've been dating this guy for 10 years. It's been on again, off again. Maybe it's time to just work on you for a while. And that's why I love tarot, because it's open to interpretation from deck to deck. It's open to interpretation from spread to spread. It can be multitude of things, and that's why I like it, because it's not, if you limit yourself to just the book, you're missing out on so much. Because if you're listening intuitively, there's a plethora of things that could come out. And yeah. And so that's how my tarot journey has evolved. I do like to stray away from traditional RWS. The new elements, new era elements is probably the furthest out from RWS that I have. But anything like the Tarot of the She, to me, that's not traditional RWS either. And I love it. It seems like the further I go away from a traditional system, the better I like the deck. And just because it opens your mind to whole new possibilities. And I think that's why I've started collecting decks that are not any traditional system, because I don't like the rules. I don't like to be boxed in, and that's the last thing you want when you're reading tarot, is to feel like you're boxed into an answer. Has my art style changed? Obviously. I'm going to say yes, judging from what I've got here, but um, I'm more drawn to what it says to me personally. It could be, I could have three of the same kind of artwork on a deck, and they all mean something different to me. They all feel different to me. And to me, it's just, it's not, I think it's a combo of the artwork and what the message is being sent to you in the tarot deck itself. Um, so, yes, my art style's changed. However, I'm drawn to what I'm drawn to. I could pick up a new deck tomorrow just like this, and people are like, "Well, you got two almost the same deck," but they won't be to me. Um, so yeah, I like a plethora of things. Um, so has the way you do spreads changed? Okay, so that's the other thing with this. So I really just started. It's been a year and a half almost of trying to learn tarot. Really since September, so almost a full year since I've actually been diving deep into it and really doing it. I don't feel the need to do spreads. I really just the last few weeks actually started doing spreads. Um, I actually printed off a bunch off Pinterest, different ones that kind of was like, oh, that'd be fun to do. But again, to me, it's another form of boxing you in. I've done readings for people where I would literally just throw cards down, and they're like, oh my God, how did you know this? I would be bringing up childhood events and all these things because I'm listening to my gut. I'm listening intuitively versus the diameter of the spread is. And so I think I'm 50-50 on that because I didn't start off with spreads. A lot of times I don't feel the need to do spreads. I usually just follow my intuition, and I'll draw one card or three cards or five cards or however many cards I feel need to be drawn. That's what needs to be drawn. Because to me, whatever you pull is what's meant to be. That's the message spirit wants to get across in the tarot. So, yeah, I don't know if that's an answer or not, but okay. Okay, I had to pause it again. Sorry. And then the last question on here was, um, has the system you have or you use changed? Um, and again, the system, pretty much the system I follow is RWS. Um, I am getting where I'm reading more intuitively, more and more. So it isn't always about the system itself. I know I pulled the Five of Wands many, many times and actually did a few spreads with it. And almost each time it comes up with something different to me, meaning something different. Even though in the book it means the same thing, in a spread it could mean a few different things depending on where it's at in the spread. But um, to me, it's not about a system either. To me, that's again another way of boxing you in. And so to me, it's more about feeling the energy of the card, intuitively reading it, um, and knowing Spirit's got my back. Spirit's going to help me out, figure out what this card's supposed to mean at this moment. Because tomorrow it could change. It could mean something completely different. So yeah, that is, and I feel like I've rambled on, not really answering them, even though I've answered all the questions on here. And to me, a lot of them are the same. Is like I feel more like they're boxed in questions, like it's putting me into a category versus what I truly am, and that's somebody that doesn't follow rules, that doesn't um, go by system. Yes, I've learned the system of the RWS, and eventually I will learn Thoth and Marseille. But um, if you're an intuitive reader, I don't think any of that matters um, so much as just being able to trust yourself and trust what's coming out of the cards. Anyway, this was actually kind of fun. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button for any future videos that you may miss if you don't. Thank you, and thank you, Becca, for putting this tag out there. You guys are awesome. Bye.